Howdy, folks. Welcome to Minecraft. For me, this is kind of where everything begins. This is the game that I've tried to make multiple YouTube series for, at least two on two different channels. I've made little one-offs for people. I've streamed this game with friends and other people that I've known. And we even had a realm together where we faced the Ender Dragon. So there's a lot of memories in this game that I have. And now we get to share some of that with you all. So, hi Emmeline, glad you could jump in and say hello. Yeah, the other thing about this, you mentioning new stuff, there's always new stuff. Still, almost 15 years later. I don't know how they do that. The music that we're also listening to is a new mix that I found on YouTube literally 10 minutes ago. Wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit. So let me know if those audio levels are where we need them to be. And let's go ahead and jump right in. On YouTube, on youtube.com/justjoshin117, we have started a Minecraft series. Of course we have. And we're going to be continuing that today. There's some work that I want to be doing in it. And a lot of it includes a lot of chopping of trees. So to give a brief overview, we're at the top of a mountain. We've built an okay house, a good okay starting house, 2 floors. We're trying to secure a safe area around, about 50 blocks out from the house in all directions. And you can see the wooden barrier that I've built to try to start that process. All these trees have to come down, and then that can allow us to expand into different... I'm turning it a little bit farther down. Yeah, I personally can't hear it. Otherwise, it would be distracting to me. I want to make sure I have that audio level correct. So, once we get all these trees out of here, we then can make farms. We can start breeding animals. We could even start breeding villagers and sort of make that happen. Those are some long-term goals for this area. And then after that, we can look at accomplishing some other things. So, going to the Nether, going to the end. I still have not gotten past where the Ender Dragon is. So I have yet to see the End City and all those other updates that we've had in the past couple of years. And I thought, what better way to experience those than together? As a group. As a streamer and followers. As a community. There we go. There's the word. Words are hard sometimes, as my students will attest to. We've got a couple things on the block here today. Major work just needs to go into getting rid of all of these trees. And then from there, we're able to further develop this area. So it kind of starts off as every Minecraft game starts off, chopping some trees. Does it need to start off that way? Well, not necessarily. You could just chop a couple, go digging, and find some crazy stuff. In previous YouTube episodes, don't click away now and watch them. You can watch them after the stream's over at about 9 o'clock. Then, we've seen some pretty crazy underground stuff so far. We dug straight down, and which is definitely, rule number 1 to dig straight down. Definitely. Don't follow that advice. It's terrible. We found... Well, I'm not going to spoil all of it. We found some pretty gnarly things. Things that I don't know how we're going to approach, basically. So that'll be interesting to experience together. Iron armor that we currently have, unenchanted, does not solve those problems that we're going to encounter down there. We'll be facing a thing called the Warden, which is much stronger than iron armor. It's like a rock, paper, scissors game if the scissors were also on fire and also really hot, and then you're just stuck as the paper. That's the iron armor. That's how that matchup would go. You'd last for like 5 seconds, just enough to feel like you could run away. But then he just clobbers you and ends your entire existence. And another idea that I'm floating, this is going to be a forever world. What that means is I'm not making another Minecraft world after this. On the other side of that is I want this to be a hardcore-esque world. So if I die, I don't keep playing it. I stop. I'm still trying to decide which of those two scenarios I like more. Because the problem that I have, and I think everybody who's played Minecraft has experienced this to some degree, you create a bunch of worlds. You just keep creating worlds every time you get bored. The idea of a forever world is that you stop that process and you just continue. I'm putting the headphones back on. This is some dope music. Okay. It's very loud for me, though. Like, I could hear it coming from the headphones. I could hear it pretty clearly. Sorry, I got distracted. But I'll end up with, like, a handful of worlds. And this has happened over multiple platforms, right? Minecraft is on all different platforms. So I have multiple worlds on my Switch. Multiple worlds on the old laptop I had. Multiple worlds on the laptop I now have. And multiple worlds here on the PC. And then back on the 360. Yeah. It's a lot of worlds. I've probably made 50. And that's like lowballing it. That's a pretty rough estimate. And so wouldn't it be so much better if I had just combined all of those into one, or never created new worlds and just stuck with one, had the attention span to do so? Definitely mods are a good way to go with most games, Minecraft included. I started trying to do that multiple different times in my life. I have a friend who is much better at that than I am, and I tried using mod managers to make up for my deficiency. I can't do it because all the mods that I want require different versions of the game. One requires 1.8, one requires, 1.2, one requires something else. So the mods got a bit too sticky for me when they were all having different version requirements. So that was unfortunate. And then what I realized also is you can't jump from vanilla back to modded back to vanilla again. I had gotten accustomed to doing that with Lethal Company. Can't do that with Minecraft. The mod managers really did not like that. So, for now at least, we're sticking without mods. I think modding the game is a very good way to increase longevity. But it's just not what we're going to do today. Do we have any monsters out here at all? Am I just missing something? No, we're on the difficulty. Okay. So, we're going to be retiring to our bed chambers. Yeah, there's a spider. There we go. Oh, we had a little warden attack. Not a warden attack. Pillager attack. Recently. Very recently, actually. It was right at the end of my last video, so I'm planning to start the next Minecraft session off just cutting to that of like the epic battle and things like that. So how's everybody else doing? I'm tired, as usual. Unfortunately, once again, giving fire to my caffeine dependency. Trying not to, but it still kind of happens. And sometimes your lifestyle just calls for that. But that's an excuse. Don't do it. Caffeine is bad, kids. Don't do it. If someone offers you caffeine off the street, you politely decline and say, I choose life. Don't actually do that. They'll probably just laugh at you. But if that makes you say no, then it's worth it. Yeah, literally liquid IV, yeah. Although you offset it, or at least I offset it, by just gulping water down like I'm constantly thirsty. So in my brain, I'm like, oh, if I just drink enough water, it will offset the caffeine dependency. That's not how chemistry works. I didn't really do well in chemistry, so don't take my word. That's not science. That's just me making stuff up. Oh, what's up, zombie? How you doing? You survived the sunlight, I see. Coffee drips. Yeah. See, and in some ways coffee is worse, and then in some ways coffee is better than what I use. But it's all the same. And that's what I tell the kids as well is just don't drink it. Just don't even touch it. You're going to feel like you need it. Just don't. You know, any performance gain that you get from it is outweighed by the negative effects of it, either then or later in life. Because chemically, it is as addictive as, you know, alcohol and other things like that, unfortunately. What happened here? Did I chop down a tree and then forget to comb the leaves? Oh, you know what? Maybe... Was there an update where the leaves stay with the wooden planks too? I wonder if there was. Because that's the only explanation I have. So yeah, let's get rid of the trees around this wall here, and then we'll test that out. I could also just burn them all. You know, set fire to the rain, except it's trees. But I feel like that might be not the best practice. At least for this. At least for, you know, cozy online content and things like that. We'll just keep on chopping down. I mean, I guess chopping them down physically is not much better. Like, for example, we were talking about mods. I believe there's still a mod for when you chop down the base block of a tree, the whole tree goes down immediately. Would really help. But again, you can't switch between modded and vanilla, and then you have to constantly be updating your mods. I don't want to do that, right? I don't want to mess with all of that. Because for a game as large as Minecraft, for a game as long as this, I would be nervous that there would be user error somewhere along the line. And for Minecraft, when there's user error, your world is gone. It's just straight up done, donezo, you know, game over. At least in my experience. So I'm just like, you know what? No, I think I'll just stick with this. But, a friend of mine is able to manage them with all the file directories and folders and stuff. I don't bother with that. I just use mod managers. If a mod manager can't help me, I just go without mods. When I was younger, I was like, I'll figure this out, and then I didn't. Story of my life. But yeah, if you're sitting out there, you know, still a kid wondering, should you get into modding? Should you understand this stuff? First of all, why are you here? I'm just kidding. Second, don't you have some Minecraft factions to play or something? No, I'm just kidding. I'm giving you a hard time. Definitely try to figure it out, right? Definitely at least try to figure it out for your own understanding. You don't have to be a modder yourself. You don't have to be developing different products, but just at least understand the directories and things like that. Because what I'm noticing nowadays, and I'm seeing it in my own students that I'm working with, they don't know what a file directory is. They don't know, you know, like if I say open, you know, the documents or open your files, they're like, I'm sorry, what? Because most of them, or at least the public schools, maybe private schools too, are used to Chromebooks, which don't have file directories. I was trying to use a Chromebook. I remember trying to use it for the first time. I was so confused. I was like, where are my documents? Where's everything that I'm saving? Where's that going to? Someone goes, oh, it's all being saved in the cloud. It's like, well, I want to save it to my computer. And they looked at me like I was crazy. They were like, why do you want to do that? That's not how that works. Like, actually it is. At work today, we were actually talking about slightly related, slightly not, older technology versus newer technology. I'm old enough to remember what DSL and dial-up is, but I never personally experienced it. And I realized how my parents got around it. This was genius. They gave me a bunch of CD-ROM computer games to play. They were all educational. So that's how they didn't have to worry about me or my brother being on the internet all the time. We were just playing our games. It was the perfect setup. Then by the time you could use the internet and a home phone at the same time, it was fine. Kids now are like, what? You couldn't use your cell phone while using the computer? No, you couldn't use what's called a landline phone, which is a phone directly plugged into your house, which sounds crazy just saying that out loud. Because everybody has a cell phone. It's like, why would you plug a phone into your house? Just get a cell phone. It's like, well, it didn't exist back then. And it makes me feel old, and it's a constant reminder that we're getting older. All my kids. Yeah. Kids learn coding. Coding is huge. Oh, okay, good it is. Okay. So maybe it varies based on like the classes you have and all these things. Okay. Because then on the other side of that, there is now an overabundance to where it's devaluing the labor of those people going into coding, right? So you'll see jobs being posted for like less and less, and that gets into economics and business. And that's my background, right? That's where I come from. But that's not exactly too interesting to the average viewer, which is understandable, right? The things that I'm excited about are not necessarily things that other people are excited about, and vice versa. I have to try to figure out what the kids that I work with are excited about and then kind of delve into that. I have one kid that is a huge test of that. He's just there for different content that he has to work on in class. And half the time, not half the time, but recently he's been very like confrontational and not wanting to do his work. So it's become kind of a mission of psychologically, where are we at here? What is causing this behavior, and how do I tap into that to deflect that energy somewhere else? Right? He's being contradictory. He's not wanting to do what he's supposed to do. Okay, why? What's happening in his head? Is it something in his head? Is it something at home? And then once I identify that, then I can say, okay, if it's something in his head, I can work with that. But if it's something at home, I can't. Right? And so you just kind of, you're able to just do what you're able to do in that time. So, I don't know. I'll have this conversation with people. I had this conversation most recently with my mom, and she just goes, "You realize that you have a knack for this." And I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, people don't talk like this. People don't have some people don't have this sort of automatic nurturing aspect of them. And so apparently I do, and my boss has pointed that out as well. And it gets me into trouble now because I work for a place where we're just prepping students for SAT and ACT stuff. I get bogged down when they don't know a concept. So I'll have to like reteach Pythagorean theorem or the quadratic formula or something like that, instead of just teaching them how to solve the problem, right? Time management wise. So yeah, positive reinforcement, right? And because it's like, you can either be combative with them and the situation could escalate, which one time it did. I wasn't even being combative, but he just starts ripping his book up. Or you can try to push them in the direction that you want them to go to, while encouraging, while building up, different strengths. Maybe they've expressed that they're not too confident about something like math. So when they get a math problem right, you're like, hey, look, you did this, right? You figured this out about yourself. You made this happen. And it's just all of those things. And for me, that comes naturally. This is the first job where I'm realizing it doesn't come naturally for everybody, because things that come naturally to me, sometimes I fall into the trap of, this is a perfect example, actually. Doing this kind of content, streaming, filming, etc. I get stuck in the trap of, oh, this is so easy for me. It must be easy for everybody. No. Quite a few people could not just sit in front of a camera and talk like this. They would either be too nervous. They would sort of clamor up a little bit. They would be like, oh, I have to be funny. Or they would like stare directly into the camera like an Office episode. It's like, just be yourself, but it's hard to do that when you have sort of the eyes of the rest of the world on you or whatever. The way that I think I deal with it, and this connects back to, for those who don't know, I used to play hockey. Hockey is a sport. Of course, hockey is indeed a sport. Great, excellent. Quote done. Where there's a lot of pressure on one particular player, the goalie. For most sports to have a goalie, there's pressure on him, but I'm just using hockey as an example because that's my frame of reference. the pressure is on you because you are the last line of defense between, the other team scoring a goal or not. A lot of players will put pressure on themselves when they feel like all eyes are on them. When it's like everybody in the stands is watching them, right? The way that I got over it was just me and the player. It was just me and the person in front of me. That's all it was. Just a one-on-one. Battle of wits, if you will. So, and I was ignoring the crowd, ignoring all this yelling and all this stuff. What is this? Oh, maybe I got coal here or something. And when you start tuning that out, the sport almost becomes a little bit easier. Because then you're like, okay, I can tune out background noise. I can tune out, audience. I can tune out all that stuff. Translating that into this content, you can tune out your worries about what people are going to be thinking or saying as you're producing this content. To use a concrete example, to stop being so abstract, right now, it would just be me and the people that I am streaming to, right? In this case, that just ends up being myself, Emmeline, and then any lurkers that we have. Thinking about that, it kind of simplifies a lot of what we're trying to do. Because then it's just a conversation. Then it's just, I'm just playing this for a friend. A really close friend, but a friend. That simplifies what you're trying to do to such a crazy extent. This could really apply to almost any form of performing where, because this is a performance to a very light degree. To where you have an audience that is, I'm going to keep these in my inventory actually, listening to you and sort of being entertained by you, for lack of a better phrase. So it becomes a notion of, okay, am I going to let that pressure get to me? In some cases, yes. And that's when you end up with clickbait content. That's when you end up with people just not sure of themselves. And that comes across pretty quick. When you're not sure what you're doing, people tend to pick up on that. And so you kind of just have to catapult away from it sometimes. Oh, I like this a lot, actually. I'm going to highlight this real quick. Someone's response to you is typically a reflection of their own experiences that day. Yeah. Specifically related, I'm going to try to piggyback off of that a little bit. That you shouldn't let someone else's character influence or decide your own character. So this comes into like, if someone cuts you off in traffic, or, someone maybe cuts you off in the middle of a conversation. It's a reflection on them. It's, them maybe having a bad day or being rude. So it's not I wouldn't say it's not your problem. I mean, it's really not. And it's just more of a reflection on them rather than you. There are so many trees here, dude. Like, this is kind of crazy. I didn't realize how big of a space this actually was. But the thing about this, the satisfying thing, is you see the progress. You see the progress and you see the change over time, and it's great. Man, I could be a therapist at this rate. But I keep bouncing back and forth between those two things. I will literally... I found a YouTube channel. I think I've talked about this before, maybe on stream or another medium. But there's a YouTube channel I found called Cinema Therapy, which they take therapy concepts and they apply it to different movies. One was, I think they did on, I'm pretty sure they did it on Mulan, maybe. But a big one was Harry Potter. And they did a lot of like family dynamics and family therapy with the Weasley family. And just talking about all those dynamics there. And what was the one that I keep coming back to one? I can't remember what it is now. Interesting. Like, I'm sorry. Avatar. Yes, that's the one I keep coming back to. That's actually how I found their channel. Was they were talking about Uncle Iroh. And they were talking about how he's basically a perfect therapist. They had a therapy off, which was basically... Oh, an arrow was shot at me. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're playing a video game, guys. where it's basically Uncle Iroh talking about different concepts, going through it with Zuko, going through it with Aang, different characters, and talking about balance between different nations, talking about balance within yourself, talking about priorities and power and love and all these different concepts. Finishing off, of course, with the legendary Iroh's Day in loving memory of the voice actor. What an episode. But let's talk about all those things. I watch that for fun. I enjoy that content. So that it then implies that, okay, if I enjoy watching that content in my free time, I might enjoy doing that regularly. So I believe that takes more of an educational background, so I have to look into that. But yeah, fun. Because, and people can attest to this, I've been making content and doing all this for a long time, and it always comes back to, one of the philosophies it comes back to is, entertaining people and making them happy, right? Brightening their day in some way, changing their life in some way. Because, putting it bluntly, the real world can suck sometimes. And if I could make someone's life a little bit better, a little bit easier, whatever, what have you, then I did my job for the day, right? You look at all these other content creators. I think Markiplier is a good example. He's just having fun, of course. I think he would agree with that same concept, though. It's not only the projects, it's not only the fun of it, it's just entertaining people. Yeah, that is kind of a forte of yours, for sure. Just eating some potatoes. I think I can cook these to heal my hunger bar better. Heal my hunger bar better. Wow. Could you tell English is my first language? No. So, still cutting down more trees. So we can see the progress, though, right? All those was trees earlier. And it's just time consuming, right? And so once we chop down all the trees, then we have to try to level some of this out, and it's gonna be a lot, of course. But seeing the progress, seeing the progression is something I've always valued this game for. That's one reason I keep coming back to it. Is you can do not because of the progression. My bad. One reason I keep coming back to it. I mean, that's one reason, but the reason I was gonna say. You can do anything. You can impact any block the way that you want to. You can change any landform into something else. Have you guys tried to change things in real life like you would in Minecraft? It's really hard. You want to terraform a mountain? Good luck. You want to terraform the desert? Good luck. But in Minecraft, you can just do it. Right? I remember back before I understood how the world worked, I just copied and pasted Minecraft concepts into the real world. One idea I had was desertification, just sort of go against it, just plant a line of trees right at the edge of where the desert begins. So like in the soil right next to the desert. Doesn't work that way because over time the soil would still deteriorate and then the plants in the soil would eventually run out of water and things like that. So. Also, solar panels in the Sahara Desert was another idea I had. That was high school, like early high school. And I was like, it sounds great. But then what I didn't think about was how it changes the climate. I'm such a nerd. But it would make the Sahara? Yeah. Make the Sahara Desert cooler, which then messes with a lot of the Amazon rainforest, I think it was. Because the two are connected by different wind patterns, which... How in the world was I supposed to know that in like 9th grade, right? So a lot of different things. What was I talking about? Oh, just how permanent the changes are and how much you can impact the world. That's something I really like. Yeah, I think some smaller deserts do, but specifically for that one, it would change the biome way too much, and it would actually do more harm than good. But my thought process was like, yeah, just put solar panels in the desert and then power things that way. The other problem was electricity. Over longer distance, loses power and is weaker, da-da-da-da. That's just like physics and stuff. I don't want to get into that. Physics was not fun for me. Literally, I'll have someone start to talk about. I have a coworker actually who is like a huge math guy, and I make the joke to him all the time of like physics, nope, calculus, nope. He just laughs because he understands all of it. We were talking about the unit circle actually, and I was like, wow, this is something I never had to deal with. Yeah, because it's pre-calc. Doofus. Oh man, stories, right? I don't know. It is one thing that I kind of like, and it's one of the more rewarding jobs I've had. And just seeing that progression with students of like that light bulb moment when they understand a concept and then get to it themselves, it's great. It's awesome. I don't think I've talked much about that job on stream, so you're welcome, Twitch chat. Because I understand chopping trees is not the most interesting experience in the world. So I'll talk about something else. Last night, of course, we did Hogwarts Legacy, which we cleaned up a lot of like story and side quests really quickly. I think we got through like at least 3 different ones. And that'll kind of be what next week is too, just kind of cleaning stuff up and getting levels up. Because I don't want to finish the whole game. I mean, we're in the day and age now where when you complete the game, you can still play it after completion. But I kind of don't want to do that in case I miss something. You know what I mean? I realized the game came out like 2 years ago, but I've enjoyed it so much. VOD for that goes up on Saturday. Sounds right. Saturday sounds right. Charlie's, yeah. Well, see, and that I like because Charlie is a perfect example of someone who would be a Slytherin and be a good person. The world and the books don't do Slytherin any favors, and they make Slytherin out to be evil for everybody. But Charlie would be an example of someone who is good instead of being just evil and malicious and all those other things. So I could see that. I wouldn't expect it, but I could see that. Obviously, if you couldn't tell from every stream ever, I ended up being a Ravenclaw, which makes more sense. When I was younger, I was like, oh, I'm a Gryffindor like everybody else because that's what Harry was. But Ravenclaw does make more sense. And to reaffirm that, Hermione was originally supposed to be in Ravenclaw. That's like a perfect setup, huh? So there's that. And then Hufflepuff is made fun of online as being like the basic one. But loyalty, right? It's like a huge thing for them. That's important. So don't underestimate that. Sorry, my dog is just snoring on the floor, and I'm just like, why are you the way you are? She hasn't got to the point where she'll wake herself up from snoring yet, but I anticipate that will eventually happen sometime in her life. Oh my god, twinsies. Look at that. I think Level Up Mel is Gryffindor, but I could be wrong. Like a mix of both. There's still so many trees, man. I feel like I'm cutting down the Amazon rainforest with how many trees there are. Could you imagine if I had to yell timber every single time I chop down a tree? That's originally why they did that. Chopping trees, they had to call out when the tree was down. So they just yelled that. Don't fact check that. Yeah, basically. It's like got milk, but instead got wood. I retract that statement. Canceled immediately. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very chill atmosphere as well. Some people only see like the mobs and stuff in it, and they're like, how is this a chill atmosphere? But it is. Right? I mean, you see the zombie coming up on me. I'm going to have to fight some things to get back to the house, but It's just a game, and it's nice to be able to just play and escape from the craziness of the world. I think we can get inside here. I only built one door on it, which is kind of an oversight on my part. But oh well. Oh, I need to deal with this guy because you do not burn up in the sunlight. There we go. Oh, did you wake up? Why is your face in my computer? Okay. Interesting. In a previous setup, she was able to curl up right next to the computer, which I guess she did because it was warm. But dogs have fur, so eventually that's going to be a problem. Okay, you're back now. All right. Cool. That's a lot of wood. Right? 64, what? 128, 256, 542, right? And then 1028. No. Yeah. 1024. So where are we at? 64, 128. Oh, I'm jumping ahead. I'm doubling each number. Because I'm going up to like 2048 and all that stuff. Let's do some math. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? So 15 times 64, 960. So we have almost 1,000 wood, which translates, right, if we take one of these out, oh, we have one right here, to 4 wooden planks. So we have almost 4,000 planks. I ask myself that question every day at least once. We have 4,000 planks. That's a lot of planks. That could fit a square of 2,000 by 2,000. Right? No, I don't think that's right. Now I'm questioning myself. I've been doing too much math today. Where like now I'm second guessing myself. Yeah, because 2,000 times 2,000 is 4 million. Well, that's not right. Never mind. The indoor garden. Yeah, that's the indoor farm until I can make a safe area outside. At one point in the game's history, the food would grow faster if it was outside. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but I like the idea of having an outdoor thing either way. Let's make some more bread. Let's yeet this wheat, if you will. And get our hunger back up. There we go. But yeah, I think we're growing wheat and the potatoes, and then we've got a couple... Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is just wheat now. And then I got a couple pumpkins in the back here, which I guess I can grab. There we go. But yeah, it's pretty minimalist. But gets the job done, so like, why not? Oh, it's still nighttime. I was like, I'm gonna go back out and chop more. No, it's still dark. You gotta go to sleep. The annoying thing that I turned off was phantoms, right? So there's not gonna be any coming. Oh, one thing we do have to find. We gotta find some sand. Pumpkinons. That's adorable. You should say that like that to her. Just to poke fun. But yeah, one thing we're going to need is some glass. So what if we go exploring for sand? Yeah, let's do that. We'll mix things up a little. Easiest way to find sand, of course, is to travel along the bottom. Oh, maybe I have a boat. Hold on. Let me see if I have a boat. Because that makes what I'm about to do a whole lot easier. We go into the sand unknown, right? Into the unknown. There's the boat. All jokes aside, Frozen has some solid music. So we're going to make our way down to the ground level here. And I don't see any sand right away, but let's see what we can get. I've been down here before, I just don't remember what's down here. Sorry, I wanted to have a quick cookie as a snack while that was happening. Okay, yeah, I was not kidding about the mountain. So, let's see, which way do we want to go here? Is the next question. I think we'll go this way. I am driver. Oh, yeah, that's bound to happen. Isn't it so cool that you can do that, though? I keep meaning to, like, make more ice blocks and stuff so then I can just fill in all that water. But I'm not quite sure on how to do that yet. Whoops. Let's see here. Oh, we see some sand. Okay, there's something. You know, my genius self didn't even bring a shovel. Oh, that is a terrible place for a crafting table. I'm going to smack right into that. There we go. Might as well grab it while it's here, right? But yeah, normally I'm not this high up, which is one thing I was excited about with this world. I found coal! That was my attempt at laughing. That didn't go so well. That was a rough one. Oh, there's the water. Okay, sweet. So we'll put a block of cobble just to like block it here. There we go. And then we can try to get some more. I think we're gonna hit water on all sides here, though. Right, because it does dive pretty quickly. I'll be able to get this block. I think that's water. Yeah, okay. So we got about 50 sand blocks. So that's not nothing. Right, here, we can get this one too, and then block that at least. Oh, and then I can't get out. I swear I understand how this game works. Okay, there we go. So 53 is not nothing. So let's keep going. Now that's just become a pitfall for me to fall into later. I'm just grabbing the sugar cane because it's not going to grow like that. Shout out to the salmon living underneath the ice. Oh, there's another cave there. It's so nice to have this because this just connects you so easily to the rest of everything. See, and this is much more properly frozen, so that's good. Okay, so we got a bit more sand here. I didn't mean to run straight into the land there. There we go. Get back onto the ice a little bit here. Okay. Can I just park? There. Was that so hard? Getting some sandiness over here. I get it. You guys like sand? You guys like the beach? I just hated that the sand got everywhere. It's like you went to the beach and then you got to take some sand home. It's like a little project. It's like a little earth project. In Russia, in Soviet Russia, sand visit you. That's terrible. Why did I say that? Good Lord. Like jokes that you said as a teenager just aren't funny anymore and you just cringe at them. That's that. Oh, okay, we hit the water. Just put that there. And we have a bit more of a working staircase here, so I can just... Oh no, my shovel broke. That's not a problem I thought I would have, honestly. Okay, let me think about this a bit better than I currently am. We're going to make a pickaxe with the last 3. And then I'll mine out some cobblestone, and then we can make more shovels and stuff. Beaches love, beaches life, according to Emmeline. No, that's a direct quote. You don't even have to look. That's exactly what they said. 110%. I'm joking, of course. It's not quite. I mean, you technically could live on the beach. Nothing's stopping you, except I guess like laws, maybe those pesky things. But that's the thing, right? In Minecraft, you can just live on the beach. You can live wherever you want. You could live on a mountain. You could live in a cave, right? In real world, not quite. In Minecraft, you can live underground. I would not suggest doing that in the real world because bugs exist. And they will find you. And they will bite you. Multiple times, actually. Sorry. I try to lean away from the microphone whenever I have to cough like that. Still sucks to do, though. There we go. So this is a good amount of sand. This is like a stack and a half, just over a stack and a half. Getting close to 2 stacks, actually. If we could find a bit more, that would be good. Oh, yeah, there's more over there. Okay, sweet. What's underneath all this snow? More sand! I could build an igloo. I could be an Inuit. Or an Eskimo. Okay, so we got 2 we got 3 stacks. Yeah, that's fine. That's more than enough. Whoa, I almost drove into the pitfall that I was making a joke about earlier. If I could stop crashing into every single wall in existence, good Lord. Don't go into the lava. It would be bad. And then see if I can navigate around this without falling into the water. Oh, look at that. Now to navigate around this little patch. Nope. You'll still fall into something, I guess. Which is fine if there's no monsters out here. You just grab the boat and keep going. See, but then this water catches you, and then you kind of are forced into that water. It happens, you know. And zoom! Oh, I hit the wall. See? Driving, man. It's a rough time out here. Okay. Dunzo. I guess I'll just leave it down here. There's no one here but me. I'm not in a multiplayer world, so I don't have to have it with me. But yeah, that broke out the banana a little bit. We got some sand. And we can make some glass. You're probably wondering, what in the world is the glass for? You can see everything. You don't need glass. You don't need to fake some birds out. Yeah, literally, zoom away at the wall immediately. There was not even a break in there at all. It was zoom wall. So the glass will be for over here. So I can fill this in, matching with that bottom wooden plank. I can fill all this in, and then during the day, monsters won't spawn down here. Right? So during the day, normally, if I cover this up, stuff will spawn underneath it. I don't want to deal with that, so we're just going to make it out of glass. There's one other part that I have that looks like this. Let me see if I can get to it. Yeah, so this is another corner that just has a bunch of open space, and I would rather just cover that with glass. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So now let's try to get back inside here without running into anything too crazy. Sorry, I had to reply to a message real quick. Okay. There we go. This time I muted the microphone when I had to cough. Look at me. Look at me learning from my mistakes. Awesome. We call that growth. Look at that growth. Okay. Moving on. So, do we have enough furnaces to cook this sand? I say cook as if that's what we're doing, but we're not technically cooking it. Yeah, we do. And then, oh look, potatoes. So I say that's pretty successful. Yeah. Okay, new day, new me. Oh, the zombies coming at us. Oh, I missed the fence. I thought I could land on the fence. That would have been kind of cool. Like 360, no scope or whatever. That'd been fun. That'd have been a whole thing. Sorry, I was checking on my audio again. I keep checking it just in case, since I can't hear it. Okay, rude. What was that? Oh, probably the creeper. There we go. Keep getting messages. All right. People gotta understand. I'm working on stuff. I'm working on projects and deforestation and anti-environmentalism and all the other buzzwords. You could hear it in my voice that my enthusiasm for that joke eroded bit by bit. Speaking of enthusiasm, one project I'm working on for a Dungeons & Dragons campaign that we do over on Level Up Mel's channel, twitch.tv/levelupmel. In the next session, the players are supposed to be receiving a special item, and I'm trying to determine the test for them to receive that item, basically. They'll watch this after it goes live, so I can't really talk too much about it, but it's fun being a Dungeon Master in a D&D campaign because, especially with players like this, we're all learning We're all still in those learning stages, especially me because it's a new edition, right? I'm used to playing 3.5, now I'm playing 5th. It's so fun. What I loved, and I highlight this moment all the time, even while we're playing, because I love it so much. It is one of my favorite moments. And it's the very first moment. In their starting tavern, I think it was the Anxious Papaya. Literally all the taverns so far are a adjective and then a fruit. It's so funny. I just put what's it called? Oh, I had the bartender have a cat. Thought nothing of it. I was like, oh, this is a cute little flavor thing. One of the characters in the party is a druid. The first thing they do when they enter is they cast Speak with Animals and talk to the cat. This is someone who just started, that was their first day playing Dungeons & Dragons. I loved that so much. The way that I started it off for a 3.5 campaign was I put them in the middle of a like dragon celebration festival type thing. It was like a New Year's celebration or like a festival for dragons, something like that. And they were in a boat race basically, and they had to like navigate the boat to win the race. And that's how they all met. Was they were all just happened to be selected for one of the races. But some of those people knew what they were doing, so I figured, okay, I need to make sure it's simpler for people who are just starting out. And then they cast a whole spell and talk with an animal, and so they end up getting the starting quest from the animal instead of the bartender. And I was just like, that's brilliant. And I come back to that probably once a session or once every other session, because it just highlights how creative these people are already. And a favorite thing to experience as a dungeon master is the moment of, well, I didn't think of that. Yeah. And if it's something that I didn't think of that's within the rules of them to be able to do, I usually greenlight it for the very first time. This has been my favorite ending. So, favorite beginning, favorite ending. Favorite ending of a session was the characters were in a dungeon, of course, and they came across a door that was activated. I think it was like voice activated or something. They had to either sing to it or they had to tell it to open. Or something like that. But before that, one of the characters tried to force the door open with their body. I think they rolled like a 2 or a 1. No, it was a 1 because they got wedged into the door. It was a stone door. So they got wedged into the stone, and then the very next thing the party does is they open the door. A normal dungeon master would have said, okay, you just slide off the door, you're fine. But me, I chose chaos. He's stuck in the door, right? The door becomes a sliding door. The door slides off to the left, and the character is pulled into the wall. And that's where we ended that session. I loved that so much. Because it's just something you don't see coming, right? That's not how you expect the door to work. I loved it. If you never played Dungeons & Dragons, it's a role-play game with different sets of rules. You basically play different classes, and you're able to do spells and maneuvers and attacks and defenses and all these different things. And the goal of the game is just to have fun with your friends. Your dungeon master, the DM, kind of runs it as a person, runs the whole game world, campaign. You tell him what you want to do, and then he kind of illustrates how that happens in the world and all these different things. It's so great. It's so good. And I've been playing it for coming on 10 years, actually. Fall of 2015 is when I officially started. Me and that DM, we still talk occasionally, but we still talk. So that's good. We've kind of stayed in touch while the rest of the group kind of just dispersed. Which happens. People move is usually the biggest problem with D&D groups. And the online scene wasn't as robust as it is now, right? There was no Roll20 back in like 2016, right? Or if there was, it wasn't to the capacity that it is now. So it doesn't work that way. But yeah. So that happened. And then What was another highlight that happened? Because there's been several of just like really cool things that have happened. Oh, one thing that I liked, I was using an NPC as like a support character to make sure they could do really cool stuff. They were fighting a bunch of giant catfish in a river. So the person manning the boat was basically his turn each time, was like maneuvering the boat, moving it around, pinning enemies and all this stuff. And his presence allowed a party of like level 2s or something, or 3s, to be able to take on 5 different giant catfish, which they shouldn't have been able to. So it's really fun to do. And I don't know. I think a lot of it is just fun with the creative process, and the other part of it is like collaborative storytelling. And that's what I love D&D for the most, is collaborative storytelling. I've experienced groups where it's kind of the players versus the DM. That's not fun. That's not good, right? That's not how I envision Dungeons & Dragons to be played. How I envision it is it's a collaborative story between, you know, a group of friends. So I'm lucky that is the prevailing attitude. Instead of, what's it called? Instead of it being combative, instead of being the players versus the DM, I'm glad that the default is like collaborative instead. So that's good. Overall, really good time. We've made a lot of progress here today. I think we've chopped down quite a few trees. We've upset quite a few environmentalists, and we're gonna need a Green New Deal just to undo all of the damage from all this deforestation at this rate. But there's still more to do. So hopefully I'll be able to get more done between now and whenever the next Minecraft episode is set to come out. And then we can move on to larger projects like farming and livestock and all these different things. And we can make nether portals and, you know, a village and all these different things. It's very exciting when you try to plan out all these different projects that you want to do. You only have so much time and resources, but still being able to do them is very exciting. Still being able to work through it is very exciting. So let's see. We're going to chop down a couple more, and then we should be good to go. Because we do have the sun going down again. So that happens. Chop, chop till you drop, my man. But yeah, I'm happy with the progress that I'm happy with the energy that we've created in the studio today. Just to reference that TikTok sound from like 3 years ago. I'm uncomfortable with the energy that we made creating the studio today. It's so great to make those references. Okay, so we're going to kind of get back inside here. If you've missed the first 4 episodes of our Minecraft series, how we got to this point that you saw today, those are available on YouTube, youtube.com/justjosh117. These streams will be available 3 days after premiere. So our first VOD of, what did we play on Tuesday? Oh, The Sims. That was our sort of our legacy series because Level Up Mel was unable to do it on Monday. So that'll be up tomorrow, and then Hogwarts Legacy is up on Saturday, and this goes up on Sunday. And it'll be added to our Minecraft playlist that we have as well. So that'll be very good on that. So I hope you all enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed filming and talking to you all tonight. If you enjoyed the content, please do hit that follow button. Join that Discord with a Discord command. And YouTube is available through that socials command. So those are how you get to those. I'm just Josh117, and this has been a fun time in Minecraft. Until next time, until we see you next week, have a great night, everybody.